Welcome to Real Talk About God. Today we are talking with my friend Kathleen Corley,
Hello.
and we're going to have a dialogue between the two of us. And our topic of discussion will be temptation and how temptation comes into not only her life, my life, but all of the viewers out there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the topic. And again, I want to say that this is going to be real conversation between Kathleen and I, and we will reference the Bible and things that we would use and we've used to help us overcome temptation in our lives. And again, I hope this helps someone out there understand that even though we are Christian women, we are still real people. We face real situations, real temptation. And being real with God is what we all need to do because He knows about the struggle anyway. All right, so let's get started.
Before we get started, you gave my name, you didn't give yours.
Oh, I am so sorry. My name is Yasmin Monroe, and you are tagged.
All right, so where do you want to start off with temptation? I do kind of want to talk about the movie. So do you want to get to that now, or do you want to get to that later on?
I think I want to talk about that. I was going to say the movie was definitely, and for those who may not know, we're talking about the movie Temptation by Tyler Perry. And I know that movie has been out a while, and people's like, why are they talking about that? But I saw the movie a while back, but it just hit me, the temptation that she faced in the movie, and it really got me thinking about the topic of temptation and how it hits us as women. So,
see, I just saw the movie last night. It's like I got notes and everything, so I'm fresh. I'm fresh on the movie.
So that means I have to dig back in my mind. You know, I'm getting old.
I'm fresh on the movie though. But the temptation that she dealt with in the movie was real. Like it was the things that she was saying and how she was feeling, and that is exactly what I've seen myself and what I've seen other women deal with just throughout the course of life, especially when it comes down to sexual temptation and feeling like you want to be wanted. You know, you want to be more, you want somebody by your side, and she just wasn't feeling that. And I think that when we look at temptation, sexual temptation is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know anyone of age who does not deal with sexual temptation. I mean, it's just from the youngest woman to the oldest woman, that need for physical contact is, I mean, we need that. And so, and the Bible talks about it time and time again because it's so applicable. And I do think, I know a lot of people felt like the movie wasn't well written or, you know, some of the other critiques on the movie, but I don't know of one person who could not actually say that they've never known anyone that felt that way or had to really deal with that.
Right. And I agree with you. And I know for me, I think what hit me so much about the movie was being a single Christian female. And people ask you all the time, well, you know, how do you, abstain when you talk about sexual temptation? Do you ever get the feeling? Do you ever think about it? And, I gotta be real. Yeah, I think about it. Yeah. That would be a lie, like you said, what person of age, and unfortunately not of age, that doesn't think about it. So I do think about it. And, but being single, it hits me in a different, well, I don't say in a different way, but that movie hit me directly. Even though she was married in the movie, I can totally identify with what she was feeling, like you said, about the companionship and how we fall into the temptation of doing something totally crazy because we are fighting, wanting companionship or fighting loneliness and things of that nature, which is a different form of temptation altogether. So I agree with you. The movie was real. No matter what the critics said, I know as a female, and again, as a Christian female, that I totally identify with the movie.
Yeah, and like what she was dealing with her husband. Hold on, let me pull out these notes. You know, that's what I did.
Get the notes.
Refer to the sheet. When you think about the basic things that people look for in when it comes to a relationship and a marriage, even think about an episode of Blackish when Dre didn't defend Rainbow and she's out there grilling steaks and putting the TV up, and she was like, I thought I was past this, is a crime. But one of the first things is that he didn't defend her. Like when the guys were calling her names and stuff, and he was like, he didn't defend her. I have a whole list up here. He didn't support her dreams. She didn't feel safe. There wasn't really a lot of sexual gratification. He forgot her birthday, and he didn't really notice the little things that she was doing anymore. Like she really, really felt taken for granted. And I think that's applicable no matter where you are, whether you're married or whether you're single. We've all kind of felt that way, where you felt ignored, those basic needs weren't really being met. And it's because we're looking for them oftentimes in people. That's one thing, but that's completely separate. But so because of that, and she was expecting, she wasn't communicating, there wasn't communication, it wasn't, and it just opened this huge door. And I think that applies for temptation, period.
Right.
Because you saw her making the conscious decision to be where he was going to be at, to dress differently when she had to go places with him and doing those things. She was making the decision to go there anyway before he ever approached her on the plane. Which I hope I'm not giving away a lot of the movie, but.
Well, again, if you are, that's okay. Because the point, again, is not, necessarily the movie, but the topic that it dealt with. And so if I can go back a minute, though, before I talk about what you just said, as you were talking, I was thinking about, first of all, what is temptation? If we had to define temptation or give a definition for temptation, it's want, it's desire. And, whether it is a valid want or desire, it's still a want or desire that pushes us to a certain direction or a certain task or something we want to do. And so when you think about that in the context of the film, and like you said, it wasn't so much that she was, I don't think, displeased with her husband. It was just that she wanted, like you said, that validation. She wanted that, when he didn't defend her, every woman wants that knight in shining armor. And oh, what? You didn't just hear what he said? Like, you just called me out of my name and you're not going to say anything? Yeah. So we want that macho man that's going to stand up for us and all of that stuff. So again, temptation is born out of wants and desires. And even though it's not wrong to necessarily want things, as they say, want the finer things in life or want this or want that, you got to be careful when that want becomes stronger than the need or stronger than what the will of God is asking for you.
Especially when you start compromising your integrity to get that. Like, I don't think, even if the guy had never came along, but something else had came along that promised her that, whether it was another position, whether it was whatever it was, she would have been willing to compromise her integrity because she thought that's what she needed to be her. Like, that was the fulfillment of her dream. That was her greatest desire. And here comes someone who not only said, yeah, that should be your greatest desire, but I can help you get there. And I can also do this and this and this and this and this. She went for it.
Yes.
She went for it.
She did. And instantly when I saw the movie and he came in, I'm thinking about the serpent in the Garden of Eden. I'm just like looking like, oh, he's setting this up. He's laying it down.
And the stuff that he was saying, that you would have thought there would have been like these triggers in her mind that would have just set these alarms off, but there weren't any. Like, when he was like, well, yeah, I can do that, but you have to be mine. Like, the alarms, the things that he was doing to make her come to him. He was making her chase him. He was making her, and he was really manipulating her mind, and the bells weren't going off. Like, yes. she didn't see it.
And again, that goes back to, that want, that need. And so it's so dangerous when we have these voids in our lives. And if we don't fill it with the right thing, the Word of God, if we don't fill it with the Spirit of God, if we don't fill it with those things that, we need as far as what we need from our Father. If we don't fill it with that, then like you said, we're going to find some other way to fulfill that need. And for me, again, as a single person, I went through that same struggle, and I guess that's another reason why I can identify, because I kind of fell in traps like that so many times until I finally got to a point where I'm like, God, I'm tired of going backwards and forward, backwards and forward, backwards and forward. I want to keep moving forward and going forward. And so I was like, what do I do? How do I get to this point where I'm able to move forward? And that's what really again stuck with me with the movie, because like you said, it was so many stuff. You like red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. But again, that want and desire had overcome her so much, and she had this void. And again, she was filling it with the wrong thing.
And I think also a lot of it also has to do with wisdom and with age.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you would think of that. What was she, 25, 26?
Somewhere up in there.
Something like that. It's like, at that point in time, you would think she would have been old enough to kind of see that. but also she really wasn't that experienced either, and he knew that.
Right.
When you meet, I'm gonna get on him for a little bit. They're like predators. He knew exactly who to approach. Mm-hmm. He knew who to go to. He knew to kind of be in that place. And I remember a friend of mine was complaining about a guy one time, and I was like, "You do understand that he chose you for a reason."
Yes.
That he chose you for a reason. She was very upset about that, but I was like, "It's not a random thing." And my husband in his past life was very active. And he told me one time, he was like, he said, you can look at a woman and tell just by the way she's walking, how she's carrying herself, how easily it would be for you to get in there. And he's like, I knew the moment that I met you that you were a nerd, and it just wasn't going to be easy to kind of get in there. He's like, I knew that that's not what it was. And that made me want to get to know you more. He said, but if I was in a different place in my life when we met, you would not have been the female I would have approached. I would have approached your friend. I mean, what I'm saying? He's like, that's what he said. He was like, she was more open to what I was into back in the day. Like,
right.
She said, whereas he said, I could tell you weren't as open to that. And that's not a slide toward her or toward anyone else. But, you're open to different things at different times in your life.
That's
and
right.
I just wasn't at the moment when I met my husband, I wasn't in the mood really to be dealing with anybody or anything.
That's so true. And it's interesting you say this. My mom would probably kill me if she knew that I was saying this and people might be watching. But anyway, when I had, when I had my daughter, or when I got pregnant with my daughter, and it was out of wedlock, and my mom made said that same comment. He chose you for a reason, because he was just looking for. Basically, she didn't say these words, but it was like he was looking for a sucker, and he saw one in you, and I was so angry when she said that, but it was so true. He, like you said, predators like that look for people and they see that weakness or that void. Like I said, for me, it was a loneliness, companionship. I was getting older, it was like, oh, you gotta be married this age, and I'm approaching 30, and it's like, it's not there, it hasn't happened yet. So I tried to create this thing, but it wasn't so. That's nothing against him, but it just wasn't so. So again, going back to the topic of temptation, again, as I watched the movie, it was just, I knew what was going on. And like you said, I think that came with maturity, because I was much older too. But I knew what was going on. But still, just seeing it work its way and how it weaved together.
And just seeing from the outside instead of being hurt. That's what I was telling someone else. I was like, don't get mad if you're that female that gets caught up in that, because if people are honest, like everyone has, like it's nothing wrong with saying, I got played. I got played. I mean, it happened.
It was me.
I mean, it happened. He got me. I know better for next time. I feel like you wasted your time when you don't learn from it. And you really can't be mad at a guy for telling you who he is, because he told her, but it wasn't really bluntly. He was like, I'm crazy in love. A lot of women can't handle how intensely I love. That, in and of itself, is the language of an abuser.
Yeah.
That's not intense love. Any woman can handle intense love. If women could not handle intense love, like we couldn't handle being in a relationship with God.
Right.
Like we couldn't handle God himself, because that's as intense as it gets.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's just as intense as it gets. Like I might lay down my life for somebody, but to, like throw my son in front of the train for you, bro.
No.
Like
No.
Not
happening.
It's just like what happened. So that's about as intense as it gets, and it's unconditional. It's always there. It's consistent. You can count on it. I mean, it hasn't changed forever and ever and ever. It's going to be the same for you as it is for somebody else, regardless of what you've done. And so when you start looking at intense love, to say people can't handle how intensely I love, then what you're giving isn't love.
Right. Exactly. And it was when we were talking about, we said we were going to talk about temptation, I wanted to talk about 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. And it says, no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. But with the temptation, he will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it. Why does that hit me? The first part, no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. I wanted to pause right there, because, the first thing people want to do is throw these stones, and they want to say, oh, you should know better, especially you, woman of God, how dare you? You're supposed to be a Christian. Oh God, what is it? But no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. And when I hear that, I say all of us are tempted. You know, yes, if I am in the pulpit or supposed to be a pastor, evangelist, prophetess, whatever title you want to put up there, and I am shepherd over people, especially as a shepherd over people, should I be more conscious of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it? And I definitely need to stay prayed up, you know, reading and fasting and stuff, so that I can, so when those darts come at me, I'll be able to handle it. Yes, I am. But again, no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. It happens to us. Temptation is going to happen to you.
But it's not whether or not you choose it. And I think that's the hard part, because you can see her begin to consciously choose it. And I remember Joseph said this one time, and he was like, every time you sin, you choose it. And it just hit me really hard, because it's true. Mm-hmm. Like every single time I chose it, there was a thought process. And it's when you start talking to yourself, like that's when you get in trouble. It's like, you know, it's really not going to be that bad. Like, this isn't going to be that bad. I'm tired of being on the outside, especially for people who are leaders. The part of being holy has been set apart. Part of being righteous has been set apart. Mm-hmm. And so when you're not like everyone else, that in and of itself can get really lonely. And I remember being in college and just making excuses to myself about why I was doing certain things. Especially, you know, smoking weed. Like that was just, and it really wasn't even my thing. Like being high wasn't all that fun. For those that got who smoke weed, it's just not for me. It wasn't all that.
Me either. I agree.
It really
wasn't. Not me either.
You know what I'm saying? But I used to drink. I rather enjoyed it. I enjoyed the taste. It's one of those things, you know what I'm saying? Kid like to win a little Jack Daniels taste. That was, you know, it's just what it was. But so I would be drinking and then I would smoke to feel normal, which is weird. So, but you know, that's the logic when you're in that space. And it was what everyone was doing at that time. I told myself it wasn't really bad for my body. I value my brain a lot. And if I knew now, but I knew then what I know now as far as smoking and the issues it can cause to your brain before age 25 and, you know, a lot of those different things, and I wouldn't have been doing it. But I didn't know that at the time. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I did it, and there was always a justification behind it. Like, I chose it, but then you also had people on the same thing that were facing the same temptation who didn't do it. And I remember being in college, and I had a female friend, and we were hanging out, and she was like, I'm not going to sit here if you're going to be high. Like, if you're going to sit here and smoke, I'm leaving. And we were both faced with the exact same thing. And I chose to smoke, and she chose not to. Mm-hmm. And it's just a perfect, and I know a lot of people might not think that's a big deal, but that's a perfect example of dealing with temptation and choosing to. And it's not like not only did I have my own conscience telling me that I shouldn't be doing this, here was somebody verbally saying, I'm leaving if this is what you're going to do, you know, and I still chose to do it.
So they're providing a way of escape. He always gives us an out, and you're correct in that we choose to either take that out or not take it. When you take it, and then you can see with this, or you can get with that. Yes, I just showed my age. Okay, bring it back. So we choose, but he provides, you're correct in that he provides that way of escape. It makes me think about when you talk about the alcohol and how, you know, you did that and your friend was like, I'm not even going to be here around you if you're going to do that. And I think about, you know, being sexual promiscuous and how I chose to do that at an early age. And now that I look back, I'm like, God, you were so foolish. If I could have stayed a virgin. Bruh. Till I was married. Like, that is so cool to me. I know it might not be cool to everybody, but it's so cool to me. And so, you know, that temptation of, like you said, wanting to be with like everybody else or what you thought was normal and stuff led me down a pathway. So that temptation that was placed in front of me, I chose it. And so in choosing it, I got to accept the consequences that come along with it. And we so don't want to accept the consequences. When we say, I'm going to go ahead and get with that, even though I know that's not the right thing. Again, going back to the movie, she knew I'm a married woman. Mm-hmm. You know, as she got deeper into it, he pulled her not only into the sexual deviant or immoral behavior, but he pulled her into drugs, you know, domestic violence, it just went down another road. And so again, it makes me think, you know, when it says yield not to temptation, for yielding is a sin. oh my God, where can temptation take you? You think I'm just doing this. I'm just smoking the weed. And next thing you know, you're not only smoking the weed, but you're sleeping around, you're drinking the alcohol, and you're down this whole different path from where you're down another path, and you just started this one thing. I'm just going to do this one thing. And then the other thing I'm saying, aside from sexual temptation, food temptation. I got a food temptation. So I know I shouldn't have this burger, but my mind is saying, you want a burger. You need a burger. I'm like, you didn't. Especially, I have diabetes. You want this ice cream. You want this cake. So we don't have only sexual. I want to make sure we're clear on that because I have a food temptation. And I'm like, I love salad. I love fruit. I love all that stuff. But sometimes that burger is like, it's calling.
And see, that's the thing. It's not always the same for everybody. And so that's one thing I really don't like is when someone tries to criticize you because you struggle in an area that they don't.
Yes.
Like, okay, I'm struggling here, but where are you struggling at? Like, don't come at me like you got everything right on your corner. That's not how it works. Because that's not how it works. If we sat here and we put, I don't know, let me think. Ice cream. Just because you said ice cream. So we have a big bowl of ice cream right here. Like, that might be a temptation for you, but it's not one for me. I have a big protein sensitivity. I can't eat that.
That ain't working me.
Yeah, I can eat that. You know what I'm saying? You lay down some oatmeal raisin cookies, though, we might have a situation.
Yeah. We fight.
Yeah, we fight. So it really just kind of depends. If you put down a kale salad with some avocado and this really good Asiago Caesar dressing, I gotta keep it as the mom. And so, like, that's all meat, like, all day long. Or if you start talking about shopping, especially jewelry shopping, that's something I thoroughly enjoy. Or like I have hundreds of dollars of fingernail polish, like just literally hundreds of dollars of fingernail polish. But that's not going to be the same thing for everyone else.
Yeah.
And so when someone is like, oh, I'm so excited, I just got this new color that I ordered and I'm waiting on, how do you spend all that money on fingernail polish? And it's like, how you spend all that money on shoes?
Or how you spend all that money on cigarettes? Or how you spend all that money on alcohol? Like, how you spend all that? What
I enjoy, it might not be the same thing that you enjoy. And the enemy is so sneaky and he's so intelligent that he knows what to put on your table in front of you. So being promiscuous, I think I was only like about 6 months, and like it just wasn't me. Like, that's not my personality. That's not who I am. And even with weed, as much as I was smoking, when I stopped smoking weed, it wasn't an issue or anything like that. But drinking was something that was really a stronghold for me. That it took me a very long time to overcome and to get to a place where it was no longer in control. And so when you look at people and what they've had to deal with when it comes down to temptation and how you're dealing with, like in the verse that you spoke about, it did not name one thing. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's had to deal with different things.
Right.
There's hours and out. There's a way to overcome it. And a lot of times those just come from our own voids, and we're filling it with the wrong stuff.
Yes. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about how do you come out of that temptation? How do you get away from the temptation? So I'll use myself for an example. Again, I was talking about relationships. As a natural part of a relationship, it was the physical. You're in a relationship. This is my man. Whatever. We're physical with each other. And for the longest time, I was going through that cycle. And even after I accepted Christ and salvation, I still had those periods. But I felt so guilty. The Spirit of the Lord was convicting me. And because it was real for me. I just didn't go up to the altar or whatever and say, hey, I'm going to do this. It started becoming real to me. I really wanted to honor, God and make sure I was leading a life that was pleasing to Him. And also a life that, as I was dealing with younger people, I didn't want to present this one thing to them. And then I wanted to be real as well with them as well. So anyway, that being said, I finally said, I'm not going to do this anymore. God, I can't. I can't, have, sleep with men, and fornication is a sin, and still say I'm this woman of God. It's just not right. And I'm not saying that's the only sin out there, but for me, that was my strong temptation. So anyway, I stopped doing it for a while. And then I encountered my daughter's father. And then one thing led to another. I shouldn't say one thing led to another. I chose, because we choose it. We're tempted and we choose it. I chose to do what I did, and bam, here I am this unwed mother, it was like the secret is out. Like I've been hiding before, that I still do this every now and then. But now you can't hide this because your belly's getting big and you ain't married. There's no ring on your finger, etc., etc. And I remember after that happened, I told God, look, obviously this is an area I struggle with. And if you don't help me, I'm gonna not make it. And I feel like I heard literally the voice of God. And I know people's like, you're here, but literally a voice said, if you do this again, you will die. And it wasn't a physical death, but a spiritual death. He was forewarning me, if you fornicate again, this happens because I have something I want to do with your life. And this is going to hinder where I'm going to take you. If this happens again, it's death for you. And I was like, oh, whoa. Yeah. I wanted God so much. At that moment, God became stronger, and my will to please him became stronger than my will to do that. And I was like, oh, God, I don't want to do that. No. I was like, you got to help me. Don't send me anybody. Don't do anything till I get this stuff right. Well, now, 11 years later, be careful what you say, okay? So 11 years later, I'm still single. And I don't say this often because, if I do fall, I ain't saying I am, not trying to put that out there. But if I do fall, because she was lying anyway, but I have been celibate for 11 years. And I don't, and some people that I'm closer to, and I tell them that, how do you do it? What did you do? Like, it's just a big secret. And I'm like, you know what? I prayed that prayer to God. When he answered me and he said it's going to be death, for me, that became real. It became real with me to say, well, God, I don't want that. I want you more than I want that.
Yeah.
And so, sincerely asking him for help. And when it says he'll provide a way of escape, when those thoughts even now come to my mind, it's like he takes it away. It's so strange. And, I have a cousin that say, I don't even care about it anymore. I ain't gonna say that because I'd be lying. I ain't gonna say I don't even care about it anymore. But it's not such a stronghold on me. At least I don't feel like it. But then I keep saying, well, God, I told you not to send it anymore until I deal with it. So you telling me that I'm still dealing with it somewhere? Maybe I just never been tempted. But for me, I really feel the desire, again, to do that is not as strong because I'm thinking about where God is taking me, how my relationship has grown, and I don't want to jeopardize that. And so when I am tempted, I read, I pray, my God, you got to help me. I've isolated probably myself too much. I'm a homebody. I'm so boring. That's
You're not bored.
I am so bored. I stay at home. It's nothing for me to sit in the house all day long, and I am perfectly fine. And it's like, okay, Lord, it's like as an alcoholic, you don't go to the bar. Well, some people do, but once you get to the point, it wasn't a good choice. Usually, as an alcohol, you don't go to the bar because all the alcohol there, that's some typical stuff. So again, sometimes it's just a matter where you just gotta run away for your life.
But you have discernment at some point, too, because we've been together and I've seen guys approach you. I think we were in Life one day, and a guy comes up to you and he was like, "Woman of God." He's so anointed. You were like, I forgot what you said, but it was so blunt. It was like, stop. You coming to me all in the wrong spirit. And you just walked off. And so then he came up to you and he was like, okay, all right. I was in the wrong spirit, but you are a woman of God. You're right, but I should have gave it to you like that.
Oh, God, you would bring that up.
Your patience was like at 0. He was like, woman of God. You were like, stop. Before you get, you would let the man finish his rap.
I am too old for the phone.
Yeah, you were like, stop. You just looked at him, you were like, stop. Don't say another word.
I'm not that cool.
But he admitted it though. He admitted it. He was like, okay. He came around, he was like, all right, yeah, you're right. I was wrong. I was wrong. You are a woman of God, I'm sorry. But that's the kind of discernment you need though, because even going back to the movie, she didn't see that. She didn't see the mask. She didn't see the fakeness. She didn't see and you immediately saw it. And that's a blessing to not have to contend with the stupidity, I guess, for a lack of a better word.
Yeah. And again, it goes back to, being honest with God. This is where I'm at. This is how I'm feeling. I want this man. I want this woman. I want that cake. I want that car. I want that purse, even though I can't afford it. I want all this stuff. I want. I don't necessarily need it. It's probably not good for me, but I want it so much, God. And if you don't help me, then I'm going to get it.
I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it later.
So I need you to help me. And when you provide that way of escape, God, I'm going to grab onto it and hold onto it for dear life.
And see, that's one of my prayers is don't let me get close to it. Like, I know a lot of times what we do with sin is we try and say, like if this is saying, like, how close can I get and kind of enjoy some of the pleasure of it without actually doing that. And I'm just like, God, keep me as far away from it as possible. Because if I get close, I'm jumping in. Like, just, I'm swan, I'm backstroking in it. Like, just don't, just keep me as far away as possible. And I put up on the whiteboard at the house, we had like the verse of the week. And the verse of the week was the thing for months. And it was Psalm 23. And it was like, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And I put under it the affirmation for myself and for the children, for my husband to say is, the Lord is my shepherd. I have everything I need. And so, when you talk about temptation, it starts with a void that isn't been filled.
Yes.
And so when I find myself being dissatisfied with anything in my life, whether it's dissatisfied with what's going on with my children, with how I'm doing as a mother, with how I'm doing as a wife, or with my husband, or with work, I say certain scriptures to myself, like, God, you are my shepherd. Everything I need, I already have. And you withhold no good thing from the righteous. So if I'm in right standing with you, and I know I'm in right standing with you, everything that's good for me, I already have it. So if you're keeping this from me, it's because it's not good for me. And as I begin to tell myself the truth about the situation, it's easier to attack the lie. It's easier to call it what it is.
Yes.
Like, I want this, but this is not good for me.
Yes.
And I'm a sane person, so I'm going to choose things that are good for me. This is not, and sometimes I have to say it over and over and over again. But if I can knock that want out, that desire for that thing, then it's not as tempting. If somehow if you don't like oatmeal raisin cookies, I don't care how long they're on the table, they're not going to tempt you.
Exactly. I
don't like black licorice. Like, I don't care how long it's
like
there.
it either.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to eat that. Like, I don't like root beer. You can put sodas. I'm not going to drink a soda.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not going to, but you come out with some good coffee, though.
It's on.
I have to limit myself to 1 cup in the morning, and my mornings don't feel right if I don't get that 1 good cup in. So
again, we have this table in front of us, and like you said, that positive affirmation thing. Again, how do you overcome this temptation? How do I get this point where 11 years? It's a combination of things. Like you said, one, I gotta run from the hills, and that's hey, I'm running for my life. We in this marathon race, and I'm getting it, boy. I'm like, the fastest runner. Yeah, I'm stick. I'm gone. So I'm running for my life. So that happens. Sometimes you gotta run. And you gotta run. So you gotta run. Sometimes you gotta run. There are those times where you like I said, you're at the table. Feed yourself on the word. God, Lord, this is going on right now. Lord, I'm gonna need your help. Lord, Lord, you are my shepherd. You are my life. You are my provider. You give me everything I need, and you just start feeding, and it just gets in spirit, and you just start getting happy. And next thing you know, I'm having a praise party all by myself. I'm laying prostrate on the floor, crying and snotting and stuff. Looking crazy, and
somebody ought to clap your hands for the Lord.
Choked all up because I'm snotting so bad, and crying so bad. Those things. So you run. Sometimes you got to run. Sometimes when you can't run and you got to stand firm, you got to know that word. And you got to feed yourself with it daily, constantly. Meditate on that. People read the Bible, but they don't meditate on it.
It's a big difference.
It's a huge difference. and then lastly, just building that relationship with God.
That's all I was about to say. The relationship is so important because eventually I got to a point where I just don't want to hurt God anymore. You know what I'm saying? Not just with other areas, like the drinking wasn't really a big deal anymore, and it was a little better. Sexual temptation areas, it was a little better. But then you at things like my mouth, you know, and just getting angry and, you know, just those type of things. And there's nothing wrong with being angry. It's a natural, it's a healthy emotion. Jesus was angry. I mean, this dude was flipping tables and whipping people. I mean, he you know, he broke out. So, but it's the difference between a righteous anger and an unrighteous anger. I was becoming angry in times when I really shouldn't be. Like, it was just unnecessary. And so as my relationship with God grew, as it became better, I didn't want to hurt him anymore. Like, I began to appreciate the cross even more. Even today, it kind of bothers me when we go to communion. And I see people just kind of go through, they don't take the time to really thank him for what's going on. And that, you know, well, I know I've been walking this Christian walk for 20-something years now. And, you know, I've been walking it for over 20 years too. Like, and it's been real. And I still appreciate the cross because I've never at one point, how do you outgrow the cross? I'm getting off subject, but
that's all right. That's all right. No, take it there. Take it there.
How do you get so
take it there?
Now the cross isn't worthy to be appreciated. Like, explain that to me.
Take it.
Like, explain to me how the cross can't be appreciated anymore. How what he did for you, he took everything he took for you.
Yes.
And he took that. I get emotional about that because unlike some people, I know where I came from. I know what I've done wrong. I know that if it was not for him, I would not be able to be where I am.
Yes.
And so I am thankful for the cross. I'm thankful that he bled for me. I'm thankful that he rose for me.
Yes.
I'm thankful that the foot of the cross, at the very bottom, is all even.
Yes.
That's why I don't treat certain people a different way because they have a title. I'm just not.
No.
It goes against my integrity.
No.
It goes against the word of God. I don't care who you are. You deserve the utmost respect from me.
That's
because
right.
God created you the same way he created me. And so when you begin to see other people for who they really are, you begin to see yourself for who you are. And as your relationship deepens and, you know, you say, well, if you love me, you'll obey me. And he's right. You know, even when it comes down to dealing with your parents and stuff, some things we do out of respect. But some things we do honestly because we just don't want to hurt our parents.
Yes.
Or you do it and you try to hide it from him. Well, that's not an option with God because he already knows.
That's right.
You know, things like Catholic, I saw that was just trifling. That was really trifling. I'm like, well, Jesus, thanks for being nice about it. Like,
no, he's not nice. He's not.
You can shut up with it. Like, that was really trifling.
Yes. Very blunt.
And so as your relationship begins to deepen, you don't want to do that. But also, you have to be careful with that is because what I found is that when I do go there, he'll pull me, like, I will pull away from him because I don't want to go to him with this mess. And my eldest son and I were talking about it the other day, and I was like, if mommy had on a white wedding dress and your papa and I were renewing our vows, would you want to go take a big poo on my dress? And he was like, no. I was like, what if somebody gave you a million? He's like, no. I was like, why not? Why wouldn't you go poo in mommy's dress? He's like, that's nasty. That's disgusting. It's disrespectful. I wouldn't want to do that to you. That would hurt you. And I was like, well, that's sometimes what we do about going to God. Is that we're so filthy and we're so dirty
That is so good.
with our own sin and with our own mess. We don't want to go before a holy God.
Yes.
Because we feel like, because we understand that his presence is holy and pristine. And for us to go with all this mess on us, it's like we're going to make that environment nasty. But what we fail to realize is that when we get into that environment is so powerful. We don't make that environment nasty. He makes us clean. And I was like, as you begin to grow in your relationship, and I call it scrubbing. Like, I can literally feel my spirit being scrubbed clean. Like, let me get this spot, let me get this spot. But we get so used to being dirty and filthy that it's unusual to us when we're clean. But after you're living for a while clean, when you're living constantly going before him every day repenting and being in his presence, you get used to that clean feeling where even the slightest bit of dirt upsets you. You know what I'm saying? So like if you're a person who has their house spick and span, if you know anybody like that, they know when something's out of place. My mother is, she's very particular about how she places things.
Yes.
And she can walk into a room and say, somebody was in there. How you know that?
Because this was that way, but now it's this way. You know, it's moved an inch.
And she knows immediately. The woman is a freak of nature. And she knows immediately. But that's how it becomes because you know your spirit and you know your body. And I remember the first time I felt completely cleansed. And honestly, it was even before I fully made the conscious decision to say the sinner's prayer. It was before then. I was about 8 or 9. And we were in church and we were at an altar prayer. And I felt the presence of God. It was the most amazing thing to me. And I knew God was real. It was nothing you could ever tell me that I knew he was real. And I felt that. And so as I've gotten older, my relationships gotten deeper with him, and we're closer, and he's my friend. And I pray, God, let me be a friend to you. I want to make sure if you call me at 3 a.m. to go do something, I'm going to get up and not make excuses about how tired I am. Like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go do it. You know what I mean?
Do I really got to do this? Do you know what time it is?
Yeah, I'm like, Lord. You know, I wake up at 5:30. Like, I don't want that to be the case.
A couple hours.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't want that to be me. But like, now that I don't want the slightest bit, and I can feel when something is off of my spirit, and I'm immediately going to God because I want to walk worthy of the calling. And a lot of times we think about that just in ministry, but I want to walk worthy to be called mother.
Yes.
Because I am one. I want to be walk worthy to be called wife because I am one. I want to walk worthy of the calling to be called woman because I am one. And that in order for me to do that and to hold those titles with the honor that they deserve, then there's a certain way I need to carry myself. I can't call myself a mother, but I'm constantly angry and feel like I'm a good mother. You know what I'm saying? And that's an area where I have to deal in that. I want to be worthy of this. Help me become better in this. Help me grow in this. I don't just assume I have it down good. God, help me to love my husband in ways that he needs me to, that he might not be able to articulate.
Yes.
Because even if he tries, he may not be able to communicate in a way that I get, because we communicate differently. He may not be able to say, hey, babe, I need you for you to do this, or can you do this? I think I sent him a dub smash the other day. It was so corny. It was like, you know that song, Eve, I Got a Man? I would sing it, but you know the melodious sounds, it's not really pretty. So I get like the dub smash of Eve, Got a Man, you know, and I sent that to him just to say, I love you. You know, just different things. And that came to me in prayer, which a lot of people like, really? Jesus told me to send him Eve. You know what I'm saying? But I was praying, and it was like, you know, it was just a chorus of that song. It was like, I got a man, I'm loving him, and I'm never letting him go. And that's something that I sent to my husband, just doing little things like that say, I love you. And when I'm in that space of constantly trying to improve, I don't have as much time to critique all those other areas of my life, to start wanting things that God doesn't intend for me to have anyway.
Yeah.
So when I'm constantly trying to improve, and I'm constantly trying to grow, and I'm constantly trying to get better, I don't have time to say, he is getting on my nerves, because sometimes my husband does. Like, he has a special ability to get on my nerves in a way that should not be allowed. I think, you know what I'm saying? I think when we get to heaven, God can take rebuke to, just I want to stiff arm him sometimes in the crib, but it's like,
oh, if he sees this, that's gonna be cute.
oh, you know he always calling you a gangster.
Yeah, it's not me.
So, just, you know, I have to really get to a place where I don't have time to critique him on that, or critique the children for what they're not doing, but I'm becoming a better mother so I can help them to do better.
Right.
And, you know, because some of what they do is honestly them. It is just their personalities, it's who they are. Some of what they do is a reflection of what we do.
Yes.
I mean, in all honesty. So when I'm in that space of let me get better, I don't have time to say, I got this, and then open that door for the floodgates. Because that's what happens. It's like a slow fade. You know that song about, what's the name of the group? I'm not think of the group, put it in the description. But it's Slow Fade. And it's a really, really good song. It talks about how you slowly fade into sin. And then you don't realize how you got there, because it is really, really kind of a slow trickle.
Yeah.
And then it opens up to be more and more and more.
Again, referencing the movie. First it was, I'm going out to dinner.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm
and
thinking.
and it just became.
Yeah.
She's going out for her run, and he happens to be
there.
And,
oh, you running too?
and she waited for him. She waited.
Yes.
For him.
I gotta tie my shoe.
Yeah, she was waiting on this dude. Like, maybe I'm a little prideful, but bruh. Like, that's a bit much.
Yeah, but it does. It opens a floodgate, and going back to something you said, just to pinpoint that. God, your relationship with God or being a Christian should never be routine. It should never be routine so that you are saying, okay, I've done this, I'm here, I've made it. It should always be growing from one glory to the next, to the next, to the next. You should always be reaching out. Okay, I got rid of the promiscuous stuff. Now let me get rid of the, food. I got rid of the alcohol. Now let me get rid of the cigarettes. It should always be growing thing. And so, we can talk on and on for days, you and I.
Yeah.
But we do have to wrap up. And so again, with temptation, I hope, there's something that we've said or or something that we've talked about through the course of this dialogue that helps someone realize, one, that again, temptation falls on us, all of us. There was another scripture that I wanted to reference, and I'm not sure. I was trying to see which one I marked it, and I should have wrote it down. But basically, it talks about in the Bible how God doesn't bring that temptation to us. That He didn't do it. He didn't do it. We did it. Like you said earlier. We walked and we had these wants and desires in our heart, and like you said, the enemy placed it all. It was laid all out. Not to give him that much power, but somebody peeped it out, and or he peeped it out and like, hey, I'm gonna help you out with this. I know you want this. You want this. Yeah. But always understand that again, God has provided a way of escape. He has provided it for us. We just have to build this relationship, spend this time with Him, and be able to recognize it.
That is true.
And so, again, I don't know if you have any last remarks. I think we got like 2 minutes.
Okay, I just want to say, leave comments and questions below so we can come back to you guys. We can answer your questions and have just more dialogue on the subject of temptation. And just know that whatever you're dealing with, there's always someone else dealing with it too.
Yes.
And then having some people that you can call on to pray with you is always beneficial. It
is. How I have that prayer partner, and also, I hope you come back, and join us. Tell a friend. We want to have this honest discussion, and like Kathleen said, send those comments, good or bad, prayer requests, whatever. We certainly want to again have that, not only make it a dialogue, but just make it a conversation with all of us, so that we can talk about
and
this.
Tips on dealing with temptation.
Yes.
Add some tips on it.
Add some tips. Yeah. Maybe you've had a temptation that some other person hasn't had, or a different type of temptation, and you want to get that information. Put it all out there. Again, because God already knows. Right. So let's talk about this. Let's deal with this in a real way. And again, hopefully join us the next time, and we'll bring up our next topic and tell a friend. And remember, you are tagged. You have been experiencing Real Talk with God with Yasmin Monroe and
Kathleen Corley.
Hope you can join us again next time. Thank you.